go straight to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
code.
Let's. Okay. All right. So, the idea is that we wanted to hack a car because it sounded cool, and we didn't really know what to do. But we did know that there was a little port inside the car, underneath the steering column, very far in near the fuse box, called an OBD2 port. So this port is used for like mechanics, and you know they plug in something over there, and then they check some error messages, and they're like, oh, you know your engine is missing or something. So you know they can determine some stuff, right? But the idea is that this port is connected to something called the CAN bus. The CAN bus is this very big wire that runs the entirety of the car that every computer inside the car is connected to. And nowadays we have cars with a lot of computers, hundreds of little devices and sensors. So it can measure the amount of gas you have. It can measure the amount the amount of like gas you give when you're pressing the throttle, and it can also measure like your steering wheel position and all that. So the obvious conclusion is that we should play Mario Kart with the steering wheel because we have access to that information. So yeah, that was the main idea.
Yeah. Yep. And so we started by before we get to the code, we started by they make like an adapter cable that basically connects to that OBD port and then connects to USB, so you can plug it into a computer. And so we basically plugged it into a machine and then used some Python libraries to try to just read out data. Okay. So intercept data, and based on the device that's sending it, the data has different IDs attached to it. So that's how you can tell who the sender is and then what the actual message is. And so we were able to filter out those IDs to identify, which is the steering wheel. And the way you do that is just by analyzing the data and seeing, okay, when I spin this, this data changes, but all this other stuff doesn't. And so then once you narrow down the ID to figure out what it is, then you figure out which bytes are important, and that leads us to the code. So.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna but I was gonna draw a can frame on it was right count can frame. I thought we were doing that.
Oh, you can
Does
do
the
that.
marker work? Can you do it?
It worked.
That's my personal one.
Your personal
Oh, okay.
marker.
All right.
All right. So we got I guess we'll report it like so on the CAN bus, it's just a bunch of computers in your car screaming over one line at each other, and each of them filter out what they want to hear by the ID. They have a bit filter, and the ID is like a 11-bit number. So I mean, in the case of the steering wheel and the specific cards, what was it, 238, and then there's 8 bytes of data afterwards, and some of it's garbage, some of it's you don't know what it is, but it's like it's a bunch of hex numbers, right? And the way we figured out that this was a steering wheel is when we used the can sniffer tool. We turned the wheel and we saw this byte was updating. It was going up or down. And also later on after the hackathon, we were fixing this up for consumer use. We found another byte was also updating, so made it better, I guess. And Raja, are you ready to?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right.
Is my hat on the right? Yeah, it is. Okay.
All right.
Alright, so basically there's like these 2 bytes. I think it's like this one and this one, right? So like they both have the information for the rotation data for the steering wheel, but it's like kind of scrambled out of order. So like this byte, there's 8 bits in a byte, right? Just double checking.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So this one, for some reason, these 3 are always 0. This one is just whatever. We have no idea what this bit does. It's either 1 or 0 and it just changes randomly. And then this one is 1 if it's left and 0 if it's right. So this is like L or O, basically. And then these 3 bits, so 1, 2, 3, and all of this byte, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all of these 11 bits together are basically like how far to the left or right you turned it. So we basically just have to like do some bit operation stuff. So like use a bit mask to get this bit out, and this tells us which way we're turning. And then we also have to like shift some stuff around and like connect this to this into one number, so we can figure out like how far to the left or right we're turning. Yeah.
So what essentially is the project about?
It's about using the steer wheel of an automobile to play Mario Kart on a DS emulator.
So you have to convert basically how much you turn left or right instead
Yeah.
of the conventions that Mario Kart uses.
And during
Yeah.
the hackathon, we didn't have time to figure all the bit stuff because once we figured out how to read from the steering wheel, it was like an hour from the deadline, and we didn't sleep. So we had this one byte that would just they just change depending on the wheel. So we just kind of set an arbitrary dead zone, and it would like you couldn't turn it that much, or else it would reset to the other side. And it was also like really laggy because of the way we had the controller set up, because we couldn't figure out how to set up a good keyboard button pressing thing that didn't lag the entire computer. But we got it streamlined now. We found a good library to press the buttons on the key, the buttons on the keyboard. And I mean, it's the code essentially is everything we explained with the bit shifting. So with I guess more interesting is we want to talk about how we're even getting the data out of the car, kind of, from the code. It's right here. We use a tool called can utils. They have a command called can dump, and it will just throw everything that's going through the CAN bus out. And the parameter you can put in to mask out a single ID. So we just masked out the 238 ID so we can only get the steering wheel stuff. And then we just put a string filter on it so we can get, because it comes out as a string, the line. So we filter out the 2 bytes that are in hex. We convert them into ints so we can do math and work on them. Well, we do bit operations on the int. So we AND it to the 8th bit so we can single out that 1 bit that Rajat was talking about that told us left or right. And we check if it's 1 or 0, and that's how we decide left or right. And to figure out how far left or right we turn, instead of just using the one value that would change, because it would reset, because a byte can only go up to 255 and it'll reset back to 0. So we shifted over that, we basically shifted over the sign that told us like left or right, and then ORed it to the values so we can combine them together, and it's just one ever increasing value. It doesn't go down as far as we know for any reasonable turning of the wheel. So it's all good. And then just simply, if it's left, then we set a dead zone, and it's left, press left, right, press right on the keyboard, and you got Mario Kart. Yeah?
Wait.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. When you said that it doesn't go down for any reasonable turning the wheel,
Like, I guess, like it won't overflow for any reasonable turning of the wheel. Like, I don't think you could turn it enough to make it overflow with the 2 bytes of data.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. That was,
What else can you do besides turning left and right? Like, pretty much.
yeah, that's all.
Aviation, let's go.
Yeah. You theoretically, like we were talking about, the CAN bus has all of the data from every computer system on the entire car. So there's a lot more that we could do with it. But all we've done with it for the purposes of the Mario Kart emulator, because you think like a DS game, right? You have a D-pad and you just press left or right. So that was all we needed for the project. But there's definitely a lot more we could do with it. One improvement we could make actually is that the way it works right now is, in order to interface with the CAN bus and to get the steering wheel to work, you need to turn the car on, right? So now we're running on gas, and we're like, the wheels actually, when we turn the wheels also turn, right? The front wheels change. But there is a way to turn the CAN bus on without turning the car on, by sending a signal to the CAN bus, and we didn't even attempt doing that, but it's a possible improvement.
Yeah.
So what about the acceleration?
Since we didn't want to be flooring it to play Mario Kart and wasting Wesley's gas, We just holds down A. The program holds down A. So I mean, the strategy is you would have a second person start the script up for you when you're sitting at the wheel, and they change the focus to the window the right time so you don't stall your engine out. But you know, you can still win if you stall your engine out and you don't drift, because the AI is really bad in the DS Mario Kart.
That's true. Also, I mean, you're never in a situation where you shouldn't be pressing the gas in Mario Kart. So you know.
How do you guys use items?
Oh,
Don't.
Yeah.
You should just
They're for
like
cowards.
You need skills.
You should make the horn the button.
You
know, we
want to be a
actually-
public nuisance. We were thinking about, like, it was 3 a.m. on the from the hackathon, 3 a.m. on Sunday, and we were like, should we try honking a horn to see if we get data from that? And we're in the middle of the Silver's parking lot. People are probably sleeping, so we chose not to do that.
Oh, we'll go you and then you. All right.
You guys didn't think of unplugging the horn?
No, we didn't.
Yeah, same with that.
Well, wait.
Unplugged everything. Like, if the steering wheel wasn't connected to the wheels and you could just move it freely, then like,
Well, I don't want to mess with Wesley's car. I don't
Right.
even know what.
That's
I
what-
don't know.
Plug a horn.
There's like a thing in the.
We actually we were able to read in like the seatbelt data and like clicking the seatbelt and stuff.
Oh yeah,
so,
we're thinking about like item be putting the seatbelt in.
like you just continually buckle in and buckle out if you want
That
to
should be
drift
to
yourself.
start the game.
Huh?
To start the game, you put the seat.
Oh, there you go. Safety first.
Wait, that's
yeah, that's how you
So
start.
how do you plan on improving safety in this game?
Oh, I mean you're not driving the car.
Yeah.
You should be.
So yeah, we should be though. You know what? We should actually play Mario Kart and then have Mario Kart control the car next time.
What was your question?
Yeah, what's your
I was
question?
gonna say that. Are you guys
Oh,
gonna have
really?
to like control the gas from your DS? Because you can like send packets on.
You know,
CAN
our
bus.
original idea was to control the car with an Xbox controller.
Yeah.
That's why we applied for best failure because we couldn't do that. But
Yeah,
but then we
'cause-
won best failure. So
Like the packets on like CAN bus, they have like a checksum. and,
Yeah.
like it's really hard to send data on them. So like.
oh, is that?
Yeah,
that
yeah. There's like a
that's why it didn't work.
CRC thing at the last byte on CAN bus packets,
Uh-huh.
and you have to like decode it. And each manufacturer has like its own
Oh,
like CRC
Oh, because
algorithm.
what we did
yeah.
was just send the exact same message back. to
Yeah,
the-
that could work too, but you can't you can't craft your own input because you need to know the algorithm for like CRC or whatever like checksum they have.
That makes sense.
Is
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
that for like all cars or like?
So
maybe the
each
older ones?
manufacturer has like its own. Like
Uh-huh.
Honda has one, but like people have cracked the Honda one. But like
Okay.
if you have a European manufacturer, I think it's a little harder.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know how. Yeah,
These Germans are too smart, man.
yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know about like a company called OpenAI or something.
Yeah.
Where like they're like using like phone cameras to drive a car.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, wait, was it OpenAI?
No, it was. It was,
Comma, yeah, comma.
Comma,
something,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
it was by that like hacker guy or something.
Yeah.
right?
Like,
yeah,
the guy
we did
who
that.
jailbroke the fucking
Yeah.
iOS 8.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. That's kind of cool.
I mean,
Maybe
his
we can,
code's online, so
Yeah, like
might
you
be
can.
able to like take some of
Oh yeah.
That's,
He must have some kind of like can.
it. Yeah.
It might have been
Tool
using like a
program.
Honda or something.
yeah, they've like
Oh, yeah.
like Comma AI's GitHub repo has a bunch of like algorithms for the car manufacturers. They've like reverse engineered, so you can like use them.
Nice.
to, like,
Okay.
yeah,
All
it's-
right. Next
So it's
hacker.
not a
anyway.
failure. It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we ready for the demo or are there anywhere?
I mean, I think we're ready for the demo.
Holy